not have seen me up here before. This is my first time up here because I missed last month, but I'm the chair-elect this year, and so I'll be the new MC for this part from here on out. But welcome, and I have the privilege of bringing up the person to bring the blessing to us. So I'd like to ask Jamie Tyner from Volunteer Networks to bless this gathering and our food today.
Thank you. Would you guys pray with me? Jesus, we just come to you today with a heart of gratitude. We are grateful for the sun that is shining outside. Thank you for the people in this room that care so deeply about our community. And thank you for the food that is before us. We pray that you will richly bless the hands that have prepared it, and may it nourish our bodies. In your name, amen.
Thank you. And usually at this time, we would stand to do the Pledge of Allegiance, but since we have the honor of hearing from Phil Ponder in the message today, then we're going to do that a little bit later. So don't think that we skipped it completely. We'll get to that later. We do want to make some recognitions, though. If I could have, let's see, all new investors that joined since our last luncheon are listed on the back of the program, and you should see the programs there listed or on your table. If I could have everyone, please be sure to introduce yourselves to our new investors and welcome them after today's presentation. So take a look there at who those are and make sure you introduce yourself. And then also we have our large investors printed on the back of that program as well, and we'd like to thank each one of you for your continued support. We'd also like to ask all our board members and ambassadors to stand today. Could I have you guys to stand? We want to recognize them. Thank you. We want to recognize them for your hard work and support that they give to the Chamber. We'd also like to thank our lunch sponsor. Today we have TriStar Summit Medical Center's CEO, Drew Gray. No? COO. What did I say? I thought I said that. I'm blanking out here. COO, Drew Gray, is going to come up here and give a better introduction to himself than I did. Here we go.
Thank you. That's all right. I took a demotion at lunch, but that's okay. My name's Drew Gray. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Summit Medical Center. It's a pleasure to be here again. I'm a previous resident of Mount Juliet. My family and I lived here a few years ago, and I'm excited to be coming back to the community. We loved it, and I'm so fortunate to have the opportunity to serve in this capacity at Summit Medical Center. This is the Tuesday of my 6th week, and one of the things that you get to learn when you come back to this community and come to a new hospital in a business like ours is what's changed since you last left it. In 2019, when I left, they had just announced the expansion of the new patient tower to add another floor, and coming back today, we're excited about the expansion that you see in the foreground of this picture here. Our organization, our company's mission is, above all else, we serve to improve the care and improvement of human life. And we talk a lot about care, we talk a lot about stroke care, we talk a lot about cardiac and orthopedics, but we also need to focus on the lives that are served from the visitors to our facility, to our employees, and the rest of our patients. And so in the foreground is the expansion of our hospital. We're adding 16 new ICU beds. That'll take us to a total of 40. And we're also improving the food services and kitchen and service areas where staff and visitors can take some respite while they've got difficult things going on in the rest of the hospital. We've got a few things left in our pocket to talk more about further expansion there. But one of the things that I learned about joining the organization is that we had to sacrifice the Ponder Pavilion for this expansion. Mr. Ponder will tell you maybe a little bit about his role with our organization, but we're proud that continuing that legacy will allow us to open a new, improved Ponder Pavilion and patio, perhaps. We're working on the naming. Maybe I'll get some ideas from you later. But expanding that recognition of service to the community and to the hospital with better spaces to live, work, and have respite while you're being served by our caregivers. So really excited today to join you. Looking forward to being back in the community and looking forward to hand this off to someone who's got a much more interesting story than I have to tell. So thank you. Appreciate the welcome. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Drew. I apologize for butchering that. At this time, I want to introduce our chairperson of the board for this year, and that is Miss Julie Griswold.
Thank you, Rochelle. Hello, everybody. How is everybody today? It's March and it's officially spring. Are we excited about that? No more winter. I'm ready for spring. Okay, so we talked about this a little bit last week with our State of the City address, but did you know that 2023 was the highest sales tax collection year ever for Wilson County and the city of Mount Juliet in our history? So that's a really good thing, because that means that we are living here, shopping here, spending our money here, right? You may have seen on our chamber social media this month, we've been doing this thing called March Mobness. We've been having cash mobs. How many of you have seen that on our social media? Okay, several of you, good. So we came up with an idea. With the chamber staff had brought this idea to us, and we've been going around to different small businesses every Friday of March. So we've already done 3. And surprising them with a group of ambassadors and chamber members, and just showing up at their door and spending money. So we've been to 3 businesses already. We've got 2 more to go. It's a surprise where we're going. But that's been a really fun thing this month with March Mobness. So watch for more things coming from the chamber to help continue to encourage shopping local. I know that you hear us talk about that all the time. And if you want to be involved in our next cash mob this Friday, just let Michelle or Keisha know, and they'll get you on the list to get the top secret information about where we're going to be, okay? So one thing that we started this year is we are doing Community Enhancement Awards, and we've presented a couple of those already, and so it's time to recognize our Community Enhancement Award recipient for this month. This organization does a lot for the city of Mount Juliet, and they have lots of members that work very hard to meet their mission, and you're going to recognize very quickly when I say who it is. But one big event that they have coming up is our Easter egg hunt at Charlie Daniels Park this weekend. So the Kiwanis Club of Mount Juliet is our recipient. And we just appreciate all that they do. I know they do so many events and things throughout the year, but this Easter egg hunt is a really big deal. And I know that those of you that are involved have spent lots of hours and lots of time putting that together. So if somebody from the organization wants to come forward and receive the certificate now, and then we'll take a picture with anybody that's a member of that group that wants to be in the picture after the meeting, would be wonderful. Come on up here, Chris.
Yeah, I'm involved in lots of things.
Yes, she is. All right. Good. Well, congratulations. Let's give them a hand. Thank you. Okay, guys, so now we've had a sneak preview. You guys know who our speaker is today, but I'm going to read through some of the amazing things on his bio, which I'm sure barely scratches the surface of the things that Mr. Ponder has accomplished in his life. So Phil Ponder is a visual historian, and he has spent over 40 years documenting historic structures in Nashville and Middle Tennessee. He has also painted points of interest across the United States and around the globe. Ponder is best known for his limited edition prints of skylines and famous buildings. His unique style is accomplished through a combination of pen and ink with watercolor techniques, emphasizing great detail and warmth of color. Ponder is a civic leader, active in many community activities, nonprofits, and civic organizations, having served as president of several of them. He served 8 years as the District 12 councilman for Metro Nashville. He has served for 12 years on the Metro Planning Commission and for 10 years on the staff of our Congressman Jim Cooper. Ponder was raised in Florida, graduated from the University of Florida in 1955, and completed 3.5 years in the U.S. Navy in 1959. He moved to Nashville to work at Genesco in various management positions for 30 years. Art, which started as a hobby, became a second career. Ponder and his wife Dot have been married for 67 years. They have 4 children and 8 grandchildren. So, Mr. Ponder, we are ready for your awesome presentation.
Mount Juliet, it is spring. It's so good to be here today. Thank you very much. I want to introduce one of our offspring. This is Stephanie Randolph. She's our youngest of the 4. And we also have, brand new, not on the list, one great grandson. His name is Noah, and we need to build him an ark because somehow or other, I think he's going to save the world the way he's going right now. It's so good to be here. Thank you for the invitation, Mark, and everybody else that's been involved, Rochelle. This is a special presentation, and I'll tell you why. I am the flag of the United States of America today. I was born in Philadelphia in 1776. Actually, I had a sister flag that is older than me. She flew on the ship that John Paul Jones commanded. But a similar thing was the colors. And all this, my father was George Washington. My mother, according to a lot of historians, was Betsy Ross. They got together and they started doing ideas about what the flag should be. Coloration, they decided red, white, blue was a natural because of the French and the English contributions to the development of the colonies. It was on this flag that belonged to John Paul Jones. So the red, of course, means courage, white is purity, blue is determination. And so to put all this together, the stars that were on the earlier flags were 6-pointed. Betsy says, wait a minute, I can do this a lot simpler. So she got a little piece of fabric and folded it and snip, and she came up with a 5-star flag. So she sold George the idea of using the 5 points on the stars for the flag. So anyway, it started out, as we all know, 13 colonies, 13 stripes, 13 stars. Well, the next year, on June the 14th, 1777, Congress approved the flag officially as the flag of the new association of the 13 colonies. And so the idea was, of course, to add some stars and stripes as it went along. Well, then happened in 1794, there were 2 states that were added, Kentucky and Vermont. So instead of just adding stars, they added stripes too. That flag remained for several years. And Congress ignored the fact that there were some states that were coming online at that point. For instance, Tennessee is 1796. Didn't do anything about it. And then there were 4 others that came online in the next few years. So that flag, that 15-star, 15-stripe flag, existed until after the War of 1812. That flag was the flag that flew at Fort McHenry in Baltimore on September 1st, 1814. That's when Francis Scott Key saw it that morning. And it's no wonder he had no trouble seeing it. It was a huge flag, 32 feet by 40 feet. So it was a huge garrison style flag. It was actually made by a lady named Mary Pickersgill. Try to say that 3 times fast. She was paid $45.90 to make that flag. The commander of the fort that commissioned the flag was named George Armstead. And ironically, his direct descendant lives now in Nashville and served on the Metro Council at the same time I was there. George is a hoot. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. We can do a whole program on him. So, the flag was finally changed in 1818. At that point, there were 5 states that had not been recognized. So it became a 20-star flag. So after that, during the middle part of the 1800s, there were several states, particularly in the western part of the country, that came online. And by the year 1861, which was Civil War time, they added several stars, and we came up with a 34-star flag. And Stephanie's going to walk this one around. This is an actual flag from 1861. It's very delicate, that's why it's encapsulated here. It is a garrison-sized flag, so undoubtedly it flew over a fort during the Civil War. It is 7.5 feet by 10.5 feet. So that is my big brother flag. So it's very delicate. The Scholes family owns this, and I appreciate them letting me borrow it today. During the Civil War, there was actually a second of the versions that became effective, and there were 2 more states, Nevada being one of them, that were actually accepted in the Union during the Civil War. So Congress was still active, even though there was all this battle stuff going on. So there was a shortage, though, of material. For a 36-star flag, they had a problem. And I'll show you what they had to do. The material was so short because they needed everything for the uniforms for the soldiers. And then this flag, thank you, Stephanie, she'll show you this one. This is, again, a flag from 1865. It's an actual flag from that date. And if you count the stars on there, there's 36, but you'll notice that the 35th and 36th one are offline. They actually had to use an older flag and add 2 stars to it because they didn't have the materials to make a completely new one. So let's go ahead a few years, and in the latter 1800s, the flag became more important. And a guy named Francis Bellamy wrote what is now our pledge. Basically a few words have been changed here and there. It went into a school publication, and everybody seemed to like it, and finally it got around, people knew about it, so it became eventually became our pledge. And we, of course, had this same flag for several years, but by 1912, when New Mexico and Arizona were admitted to the Union, we had gotten to 48 stars. We had already completed the involvement in the Spanish-American War and other skirmishes. It seemed like we all were in some kind of skirmish or war. And anyway, this flag was finally changed to the 48-star flag, which remained for 47 years as our flag. Included in that was World War I. And there was a special celebration, Flag Day, in 1916. It was just a one-day proclamation that President Woodrow Wilson declared. And this is what he said. These are his exact words. This was May the 30th, 1916. This flag, which we honor and under which we serve, is the emblem of our unity, our power, our thought and purpose as a nation. It has no other character than that which we give it from generation to generation. The choices are ours. It floats in majestic silence above the host that execute those choices, whether in peace or in war. And yet, though silent, it speaks to us. Speaks to us of the past, or the men and women who went before us, and of the records they wrote upon it. Very wonderful words from President Wilson. It finally became official under President Truman, and he declared June 14th always for the help of Congress in 1949. So here we are with this flag, like this, 48 stars. This particular flag is from the end of the era. This is from 1959. This flag actually flew on the ship that I was stationed on. The reason they gave it to me, I left at the beginning of summer that year, because July the 4th of that year, Alaska became a state officially, and the flag was changed to 49 stars. So they would burn this flag anyway, so that's how I got it. So if anybody's got a 49-star flag, please hang on to it, because it's got to be worth a lot of money. It was only there for 1 year, because then along comes Hawaii, and it became the 50th state in 1960. And that's why we call it Hawaii 5-0, by the way. And so then we have this flag. Well, let's do this flag. Actually, both of these are appropriate. This one is the flag that flew over the U.S. Arizona at Pearl Harbor. And that was a gift to me, so I really do appreciate that. And this is actually a star, 50-star flag. But at the time, of course, there was 48 stars on the one that was on the Arizona as it was sunk by the Japanese. So the flag finally has gotten to a point of 50 stars. This is the 27th version of our flag, of me. I've changed a lot, 27 times. And the fact that it flies all over the world, and this particular flag, I will say, speaking of the world, flew over the U.S. Capitol. So it has a significance to it also. So these are my family of flags here, and I'm really proud of all of them, and glad that they are able to help me do my story on the flags. What's going to happen next? Here's the good question. 51st state, Puerto Rico, District of Columbia, could be. I won't be around to see it, I'm sure, because it'll be a few years before everybody gets their act together to find out what's going to do. But will we have a competition to decide how the stars are lined up? Will there be something, maybe a totally new arrangement, maybe one big star? Who knows? Anyway, something to look forward to. The flag has a wonderful, wonderful history. This year, 247 years on June the 14th. You know what? I'm in pretty good shape for that age. So it's something, that's going to be up to you and I to make sure that the flag remains our flag, because it is the flag that represents the greatest nation in the world. And at this point, I want you all to stand and join with me as we sing and say kind of a happy birthday a little bit early, but let's do it as a pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been such an honor to join you today talk about the symbol of our wonderful, wonderful nation. And my greatest wish is that God will preserve this nation, this world, and that our flag will always fly in peace. Thank you so much for letting me be here.
Does anybody have any questions? Because he probably knows the answer. He's like a walking encyclopedia. Any questions? Yes.
Phil, do you still have copies of your book for sale? The big title book?
The book, yeah, they're available at Picture This Gallery on Lebanon Road. There's about 50 of them left.
Okay.
Thank you for asking.
When,
I didn't pay her to do that. Thank you, Dad.
Everyone is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim.
Did you have another question?
yeah, when, you may have answered this, I may have missed it. When did it go, when did they change back from 15 stripes and just stay at
That was in 1818. When they added the 5 stars, they went back. I'm sorry, I probably explained that. Exactly. They went back to the 13 stripes, because then if they had 20 stripes, it was just getting to be too much in the way of stripes. Yeah, Congress, it's officially, by the way, anytime the flag is changed, it's on the 4th of July, even though the state may have officially become a state sometime between July 4th, one year to the next. Yes,
Phil, do you
Martin.
suppose there's anybody else in here that's not ashamed to admit that through the 60s and 70s, they watched Jack Lord every week in the White House? Because they were the 50th state.
Yeah, maybe I should have explained that if I over a little bit more.
Don't write down.
All right, good. It's been so much fun to be able to, just share a little bit of history with you on a monthly basis, and just kind of put it all together in one. And I appreciate the Scholes family letting me find these two very valuable flags, by the way. This was found in a house that was being torn down in New Jersey, and the person that found it actually gave it to a museum in New Jersey, and it wound up in the hands of a guy in Kansas. And then Linda Scholes bought it from him in 2015. So she had that for a few years. This particular flag, I know is made, they used to do, they made flags, they made several at the same time. It kind of imprinted them on like a silk screen on cotton, sometimes silk, and then they would cover. And you can see on the bottom here, there's a little tiny bit of that blue that came from the flag that was on the other part above it. So it's a really unique flag, and I'm so glad that she was able to let me borrow it for this presentation. I probably should have insured them, I'm a little scared of it too, because they are so valuable. Thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed being with you all today, and thank you for honoring our flag.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. I know, I think I speak for all of us when I say we look forward to the little short history lessons we get every month from you. So thank you for being part of our chamber and educating us every month on the flag. Okay, guys, so a few things I wanted to touch base on. First of all, we did our Day on the Hill last week, so a group of us, we got on the train here in Mount Juliet early in the morning, rode downtown, went to the Cordell Hull building and to the state capitol, and we just had a really great time. We got to speak with Governor Lee, with Senator Pody, and with State Representative Lynn. They all gave us some time that day, so it was, we heard from the several different departments, the comptroller's office, the Department of Commerce and Insurance, several different departments came and spoke with us. So it was very informative, educational, fun, and I just encourage you, we do that once a year, so if you haven't done that in the past, watch for that next year. We usually do it in the spring, so it's definitely a fun thing to go do if you get the opportunity. Some other things we have coming up soon. We have a young professionals group that is newly rekindled, and hopefully some of you have been able to meet with them recently, but they are meeting this Friday at the Corner Pub from 4 until 6. We have Meet the Mayor with Mayor Hutto on next Wednesday, March 27th at 9 a.m. That'll be at the Chamber office. We also have Your State Connection, which is a new program that we just launched last month. Well, I guess this month. So every other month, we'll be hearing from Senator Pody one month, and then the next month, State Representative Lynn. So we'll be with Representative Lynn on Friday, April 5th at 8 a.m. It's always the first Friday of the month at 8 a.m. at the Chamber office. So hopefully you can come out. I know on the news every night you're seeing and hearing about all the bills and everything that's going on right now in our legislature. So come out and meet with our representatives here locally at our Chamber office, and you can get an update straight from them. One exciting thing we have coming up too, on April 12th, we are going on a tour of the brand new REI facility. So that'll be April 12th at 8:30 in the morning. And we do have limited availability, limited spots for that tour. So make sure that you register early if you want to participate in that. Of course, all these events and lots more, there's more than I can just know, like I can't say them all up here, right? But just go to our website and look at our calendar anytime and make sure you register for the events that you can participate in. So next month, on April 17th, our luncheon will be right back here in the same place with President Scott McCarver from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. He will be our speaker. So we hope that you can all join us then. Does anybody, Mark, anybody have any announcements? Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming out today. Thanks again to our sponsor, TriStar Summit today. And it's great to see everybody, and we'll see you again next month.